Mama's been hurting, 'cause Daddy's been down. Ain't nobody been working since the mill left town. They got 2 youngins, not 10 years old, with $200 left in his billfold. And a week's worth of groceries is the price of gold when your whole damn country's been bought and sold. Never there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing, I've been flying low in my troubled mind, get to digging me a hole my soul can't climb. So it's the end of the world, but nobody knows, 'cause they all just stare at the trash on their phones in a land that's littered with many men's bones who died fighting for somewhere they could call home. Whenever there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing,
flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody's having a great day. Oliver Anthony got everybody in their feels, it sounds like. It was either the perfect song for the intro, depending on what day you had, or it's I don't know, it's one of those songs that gets you in your feels, but it's a great song nonetheless. And I like to kind of flip through the intros and keep you guys on your toes, but I'm super excited for this stream. If this is your first time in the Hive, this is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines. So if you are easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, this is not going to be the stream for you. However, if you like to look into things, you tend to see rather easily through the mainstream media BS and corruption. Well, you have found your people. You are amongst friends, and welcome. I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Central. I stream both here on YouTube and X, soon to be Rumble. And when I get that up and running, I will let you all know. But as always, I want to say what's up to everybody. We got UFO Dog. Shells, that's the type of energy we need tonight. I love it. Let's make the mainstream media narratives our biatch. Love it. What's Gucci, Beckstats? Luna, you said that's the best intro? What's up, LA Mike? My pug, Mimi. You like the intro? That's good. I love it. Dina likes it. Welcome to Hive Live is right, Chrissy. Mitty Witty, what's Gucci? Carrie, good to see you. What's going on with you? Amanda B from West Virginia. Love the avatar for your screen name. Hell yeah. Haley Mucketfuss, good to see you. River Bear Teacup. Hurdy Gurdy, Heidi Ho from Alabama. War Eagle. Not an NPC, live from Texas. I was laughing at your comment about you're like making burgers, watching Birdie. This is my America. And you live in Texas. That is arguably the most American you might be able to get. Absolutely, Donna. One more day closer to Friday. It's hump day. That Camel commercial back in the day, the Mike. When I think that was a hump day commercial, right? Yeah. Adrian, 1984. What up? Twine and Toucans. That's what goes through my head every time too, Chrissy, whenever I see Muck and Fuss. That's got to be like a fun last name to have in high school if you played sports. What up, Bobby? Ray, True to It, Lori, UK Karen, Johnny's tuning in from Nebraska, Berdino, go Big Red. I do like the black shirts. Yeah, that commercial was awesome. Carissa Explains It All is tuning in from Nick Cage's basement. That is either concerning. Well, that's concerning either way, but rather hilarious as well. And thank you for holding it down over on the X side. Marsha, thank you so much for kicking off this stream with a $1.99 super chat. As you all know, I keep all of these live streams free. So the only thing that I do ask is that you hit that subscribe button. I'll plug the channel here in a second. Growth Renewal, good to see you. Fiona, Scotland. I haven't said that in a while. Scotland's in the house. I haven't said UK Cheese Farmer Side Piece either. UK Cheese Farmer Side Piece is the most epic username out of the UK. There's not a trophy for it, but there is now. Such a perplexing username. Miss Maggie's joining the Hive while building a jewelry box. That's fun. Caleb, good to see you. Stacy, good to see you as well. And Batshit Crazy is tuning in. Well, let's go ahead and get into today's theme, which is there is not a single doubt in my mind that we are watching the cover-up of the murder of Charlie Kirk. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is being covered up. Now, what's interesting, I didn't have time to screenshot it, but I'm scrolling X and I saw it was like Polytech something survey. 95% with $332,000 in donations on a poll believe that Tyler Robinson is the lone wolf. 95%, $330,000 donated into that poll believe Tyler Robinson acted alone. I would have thought it'd been the opposite. I can't believe it. The narrative begins to, or Polymarket, whatever it is. I got to look up the name of that. Let me actually, because that was the first time that I've heard of this poll, but let me just fact check myself on this so I can at least get the name right so you guys can go look at it. Polymarket, yeah. What did I say? Polytech? Okay, come on, focus. Crazy. I mean, it says, was Tyler Robinson a lone actor? Yes, 96% chance. I stand corrected. Unbelievable. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think people are believing this lone wolf narrative? Well, I have a theory. And that theory is, when in America have we ever seen a high profile headline that starts off as a lone wolf narrative ever get corrected to something else on a massive level? If there are accomplices that do sneak their way into the narrative, it seems to be hidden in the most random paragraph towards the end of whatever document they release, and you have to go digging through it. Very rarely will you ever see a massive rollout and say, this was not a lone wolf act. There was 20 plus people involved, or whatever the number is now. And that's what I thought too, batshit crazies. I'm like, they influence polls, they influence surveys, I'm sure, for political gain during the time of elections. I don't think that anybody would think that that's a stretch, but yeah, kind of what Bag of D's just said. It's like, it could be a rigged poll. I've never used Polymarket. I don't know if you got to donate to vote, but it's kind of depressing to think that much of the country believes he was a lone actor. And it's depressing on a multitude of levels, or there's a multitude of reasons that it's a little bit sad, because the narrative felt so choreographed. It almost seems, and actually, let's go through this exercise. Charlie Kirk gets shot. Is anybody surprised that this is the outcome that the news has rolled with and dug their heels in on? And that the powers that be have dug their heels in on this lone wolf narrative? I'm not surprised. I would have bet money that if you could have just said, okay, Charlie Kirk is shot, what does the next 48 to 72 hours of the news cycle look like? I would have guaranteed that this would have been lone wolf. Guaranteed. Lone wolf. And I would have said, this is probably going to be some young man who acted by himself. He was on some sort of maybe prescription psychotic medicine, minimal friends. Nobody really knows him. I'm not surprised. And Bextats, thank you so much for the super chat. Bextats says, how many of us remind our quote lovers of our pronouns when texting? I can't get past that. Did we talk about the Candace clip where she was saying that she had gotten a tip that said the FBI went wrong when they were AI generating that prompt, and they meant to say people in their 20s, but the prompt interpreted it as people in the 20s. Hence why it says like my love, and I'll go retrieve it. And it was talking as a young couple in the 1920s, not the age of being in their 20s. And I was like, holy shit, that might actually be what happened. That literally might be what happened. Nobody texts like that. No timestamps, nothing. And Constance B says, and thank you for the super chat, the key word being actor. Yes, Tyler is lone. That's a great point. They call it a lone actor. Words are important, right? Words are extremely important. And actor is a key one. It did read like a Shakespeare novel. Exactly. Staged. And what up, Tracy? Good to see you. Jamie, if Candace Owens ever agreed to come on the Hive Mind, I would shit a golden brick. I'd shit a golden chicken that would then shit a golden brick, and that would somehow hatch into another golden chicken. That would be epic. And we're going to get into this, Caleb, because I have an interesting video clip, and I think it does a good job explaining that about, yeah, did Tyler ever confess? And if he goes to trial, what's that going to look like? 1111 says, I think it may be more terrifying and depressing that the government doesn't cross-check their AI like us, quote, normal humans do. Delete this exchange, please. We are living in a combination of hell and a simulation, it seems like. So let's move on. I'm going to quick plug the channel. As I was saying, if you have not hit that subscribe button, please do. And on the chat right now, if you just swipe down, tap the like button, that helps get this out into the algorithm. Same thing with X. If you want to repost it, I would really appreciate it. I have TikTok, Discord, Substack. I need to get a Substack article out tomorrow. And then I also have Facebook and Instagram. Now, I don't just have all of these platforms to just have them, right? They obviously take additional work to run and manage. And thank you to the people that are helping me out with that. Robin, Dawn, Dana, other people in the Hive. But the reason why we have that is so that you guys can post your clips, or you guys can tag those profiles and send them to people that maybe don't watch on YouTube. So the next time you're on that app, if you could please just go type in Birdie_Hive Mind or Birdie Bombshell or just Birdie, it should pop up. And if you could just like the page or follow me on those, I would really appreciate it. Send those clips to your normie, mouth-breathing NPC zombie friends in the most respectful way. Slowly start to dose them with the red pills. And all right, we have a decision to make on this. I'm going to completely own this. I do not know how I forgot it. I have an alert that goes off on my phone, and I don't know how I haven't been seeing it. The Hive Mind Roundtable was always scheduled to be the last Sunday of every month. We could have tried to push for this Sunday. I made the decision. We are going to do a Hive Mind Roundtable the following Sunday, October 5th. And then we will be back onto our normal schedule. We'll do another one right before Halloween. So Sunday, October 5th, 7 p.m. Central, send me an email at birdiebombshell00@gmail.com if you'd like to be on the roundtable. Please put the subject line as roundtable. Send me a couple bullet points on what you'd like to talk about. You don't have to have a webcam or a computer even. You can join from your phone. I would highly recommend a laptop with a webcam. It's just like joining any Google Meet meetings or team meetings, or I send you a link, you click on it. For the people that have been on it in the past, it's super seamless. We have yet to have a problem with any cameras or audio issues. All I ask is that you have about 75 to 90 minutes of uninterrupted space as far as people in the background not talking or walking by you, and you can be dialed in to the Hive. So we are going to be doing that next Sunday, October 5th at 7 Central. birdiebombshell00@gmail.com. And I always look forward to those. Those are always awesome conversations. That is your in the Hive. That's your guys' show. I want to set you all up for success. And it's just like a bunch of friends that are FaceTiming, talking about whatever we want. Now, Grammy T, how about sharing the good news from your estimated birdie? Well, I can't. I have to plead the fifth on this about the life-changing news. And but thank you so much for the super chat. It is very exciting. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I have to, Hive. I have to. You guys are gonna make me like blush over that because it's so exciting and I'm super stoked, but I have to wait. Now, yeah. All right. I gotta focus. Moving on. This is moving on to the Hive Mind finds. This comes from not an NPC. Now, this was wild, and my mind is blown. This comes from X trillion 0x says, I cannot say how I got this information. Just know it was from a source very close to Charlie. Now, let's talk about Arcus from Elbit Systems. It has AR capabilities, it's incredibly lethal, and it's perfect for a surgical strike on Charlie Kirk's brainstem that nobody will ever see. The Assault Rifle Combat Application System, Arcus, is a unique computer platform for assault weapons designed for the future infantry soldier. We don't see the shot because there was no line of sight to Charlie. It used augmented reality. I'm going to read that again. We don't see the shot because there was no line of sight to Charlie. It used augmented reality. The reason he, quote, looks ready, he closes his eyes and sighs because someone spoke in his ear, which he didn't like because it is distracting, but it froze him in place long enough to shoot him. Hunters do the exact same when making an animal call to get the buck to look up and freeze. Okay? So that's insane. He does kind of pause. He does flinch a little bit beforehand. It sounds crazy. Now, because I was in YouTube jail, I'm not going to show the video that demonstrates the Arcus system, but you can go look it up. I don't even know how to describe how insane this is, but I have their combat application system like features and benefits here. And a couple of them are that the augmented reality will tell you if someone is friend or foe. It connects to AI systems. It has mesh communication, which means it can tell you the distance from a building to the enemy to your closest friendly. And you can shoot from shelter. You can identify targets. It doesn't matter which direction you need to shoot in. It's got a daytime camera and it's got movement detection. Cold calibrate. I thought that it just went out, Hive. I thought that we just went out. But we're all good. Whew. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But anyways, pretty much what this is saying is that it can lock onto a target without having the line of sight to the target. So it can read, it almost like takes like a 3D view of where you're at, and it can lock onto a target that you can't see. Go watch that. Okay? Go watch that. It is crazy. Now, I don't know if this was used. I need to collect my thoughts on how I ask this because I know that there's going to be a ton of answers. So I'm trying to figure out a way how to ask it that everybody can either agree or disagree initially. Is there a mystery around where this shot was fired from? Or are the majority of the people that are tuned in right now convinced that this shot came and hit him behind the ear and exited out? Because there's a lot of people that say from behind. There's a lot of people that say it might be the palm gun guy. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know which angle this bullet hit him. Yeah, some people are saying mystery. Excuse me. I'm not convinced. Behind the ear. Right. Mystery. Exit wound. How many people think that the neck wound that we saw was an exit wound? Type of 1 if you think it was an exit wound. Type of 2 if you think that it was the entrance. 1 for exit, 2 for entrance. You know what's interesting is if that's an exit wound, that also doesn't look like a large caliber exit wound. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Karen. And the autopsy said there was no exit wound. That's right, Hannah. Yeah, the forbidden theory. There's 2 theories that I see get shot down. No pun intended. I promise that was on an accident. And it seems like there's been some backpedaling on Israel's involvement. And there also seems to be minimal talk over the last 48 hours of this being a staged event. There's a handful of creators on X that are going hard on the staged event, but I've seen a lot of people back off of Israel. And do you want to know who I'm seeing a lot of fingers get pointed towards? Why don't you guys guess? Because we're going to get into it in this stream. And as I give my disclaimer, if you're easily rattled or offended, this is what the Hive does. We think past the headlines. Oh, LA Mike said it. There's a few people saying it. Well, that's true, Mr. Smixon. It's true. I made that point with George Webb, and I said, you know, giant countries that have a huge military presence and the technology to do this, there's no way that they're going to let it be traced back to them. They're not going to let it look like they had anything to do with it. Yeah, and we're going to dive into this, but I have a video that this just looks completely choreographed. I'm going to make this full screen and I'll let this play and then we can talk about it. Okay. I have so much to say about this video because let me tell you this. If you didn't notice who got handed something and who handed something off, that's the whole palm gun guy. That was the first thing that went through my head. I'm not saying he actually had a palm gun, but with all the reaction and the trigger, and then you see him, hand something off and then the guy runs out. This all seems too, yeah, it's just obvious. Exactly. They're passing something. Now, here's what I don't understand. Let me frame this in reality. I get that this is trained security. I get they might have military background. I get all of that. I don't feel like they even assessed what was going on before there's 3 people running off camera, looping around. I mean, we're talking in a matter of seconds. So are they trained for that? Yes, but like, how do they know? Was he fatally hit? Was he not fatally hit? Are they going to do that at the sound of a gunshot? Do they just know? But they're all jumping onto the ground. They all run and get on the ground quick, and then they get up and they scatter. I don't understand the lack of what just happened. Nobody looks up. Nobody tries to find the shot. Nobody looks around. He's just down. He runs. They slide around the table. One guy's hopping over the table. That isn't that unrealistic of an action, in my opinion. But the handoff, at first I thought, was it keys? Where they're like, here's the keys to the Denali or whatever they put him in. That's what I thought. But it actually looks like the dude who was the sketchy palm gun accused guy hands him something. And then that guy runs. Now, I want to also show you guys this. So this is interesting to me. The bald guy's reaction time. Okay, this dude. Watch this reaction. Does this seem, and I'm not trying to speak out of pocket against ex-military, anybody, I don't know. I obviously am not trained, but this just doesn't seem like even normal for somebody who would be trained. What was that? What is he doing? It just, yeah, it looks like it's expected. It just looks expected. So that was an interesting video clip. And let's watch it one more time. See, that guy's reaction seemed much more normal on the left. This guy's. I don't know. And then somebody was able to track down Mr. George Zinn in the crowd. Let's check out his reaction time. This is also pretty remarkable. Seems to be right on cue. I mean, that is so quick to stand up and start yelling, "You're the shooter." That is instantaneously. People haven't even started running yet. And someone said, does he have zip ties in his pants? I don't know what that is. just very interesting. Again, it just seems very on cue, choreographed. This obviously looks like a plainclothed officer here. Obviously, same here. Another one here. Do you guys think he's in on this? Like are we pretty? We're all in agreement, right? George Zinn can't just be randomly doing that. You guys don't think the old guy that stands up 10 seconds after the shot goes off and starts screaming that he's the... I mean, by his own confession, I think he said that.
Please retrieve your nearest tinfoil hat. Place hat firmly on your head.
This is mind-blowing. This is just so weird whenever people track back the entire plot to what's happening in real life to a movie that was released in 1998. Snake Eyes, Gilbert Powell, is based on Donald Trump. Numerous references to it still remain in the final film. And let's go ahead and watch this.
In the movie Snake Eyes, there's a tremendous amount of predictive programming regarding the Charlie Kirk psyop. The main character that's murdered in the movie's name is Charlie Kirkland. He is killed by a single shot in the neck on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was killed by a single shot in the neck on September 10th. No coincidence, 2025 is the year of the snake. This movie's called Snake Eyes. The movie's marketing has Nicolas Cage making this hand signal, the same one that Donald Trump and Elon Musk made at Charlie Kirk's memorial. The central plot in Snake Eyes centers around a corrupt deal with Israel. One of the conspiracy narratives surrounding Charlie Kirk is that he started turning against Israel. A heavyweight boxing champion named Lincoln Tyler is involved with the conspiracy surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirkland. The name Tyler derives from the word tiler, the one who lays the tiles, like the Masonic system laying tiles on the black and white checkerboard, creating psychological operations, psyops, to move and manipulate the world through mind programming. In the movie Fight Club, Tyler D orchestrates a terrorist attack called Project Mayhem. What is predictive programming? It's a revelation of the method that happens ahead of time so that when something happens in real life, the public accepts it more easily because they've seen it before. The tagline for the movie Snake Eyes is believe everything except your eyes. So much is coming out regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination psyop. Tons of AI was used. There's theories about his wife, Erica Kirk, being involved. Something just doesn't feel right. So everybody, let's not just believe our eyes, but let's think a little bit. Why is this all going on? What is the bigger psyop behind this psyop?
All right. That is just mind-blowing. And Sherlock, I'll go ahead and I'll pull those up here quick. Give me 1 second here. All right.
So many people today in this country go to church and have no idea in the world where the word church comes from. The word church is an English word that is based on a Scottish word, Kirk. This is why in Star Trek you have Captain Kirk and the good ship Enterprise. These words, they mean something. Kirk is Scottish for the English word church. Mother Circe in Greece became Mother Circe, and Rome became Mother Kirk, and Scottish became Mother Church in English. Wow. Mother Circe in Greek was able to hypnotize people and bring them into her home and hypnotize them and turn them into pigs and animals and then eat them. She would live off of them. Emperor Constantine called together all of the magic practicing priests of the Roman Empire because the empire was in trouble, like America is today. America's falling apart. America's in decline. America is collapsing because it has accepted lies and deception and promoted all the teachings that are just not true. The President of the United States has no control over anything. Governments have no control. But as long as they can make you think they're in control, then you will do their bidding. That God gave you your life to be free, not to crawl on your knees to any government, not to bend your knee to any man or any group of men, no church, no religion, no synagogue. You need to do your homework and find out where all this stuff really comes from. The white establishment on the earth. And one of the most important priesthoods in that ancient establishment were the Druids. And the Druids had a very important symbol that they used that we still have today. It was a magic wand. Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree. It was made out of Hollywood.
Oh my God.
And they're still working their magic on us in Hollywood today. This is where the word comes from. So many people today in this.
And just to add one more to the pot here, as far as the truth hiding in plain sight in the English language, consider pro and con. Pro is positive, con is negative, as it's null, right? If one is to have to get into a place, they can ingress. If one is to get out of a place, they can egress, right? If one is to make positive change inwardly, they're making progress. Got it? Now, what would it mean? What would the English word be for making negative change outwardly? That would be the primary body of our government, Congress.
Oh my God.
So they're not for us. They're telling us the truth in plain sight. Now, keep in mind, if you haven't seen my previous short where I showed you that the word church is an English word that is derived from the word Kirk, as in Captain Kirk or Charlie Kirk. It's a Scottish word, Kirk. The Scottish called their churches Kirks, okay? And then the English took it and made it church. That's where the word church comes from. Very interesting that we have an event here, whether real or illusion. It's still an event that got the church all riled up, everybody divided, and now the country is basically wanting to go to civil war over this. And it's to cause chaos. It's to cause mayhem. And if you consider Freemasonry, the rites that Freemasons take in their occult, their secret society, they call them rites. These are the Scottish rites. Okay, very interesting that the word church, the target of this entire PSYOP event, is an English word derived from the Scottish word Kirk. So I don't know. To me, that's some pretty strong correlation that regardless of whether it's real or an illusion, to me, this has Freemason written all over it. And I just wanted to put that out there. And just to add one more.
So, you know what's so interesting about all that stuff is all of that can be traced back to like the origin. Like they talked about Hollywood, and it was a magic wand. It was a branch made of Hollywood. And then they used it to cast spells and work magic. I don't think that stuff just disappears. I always, and this might be a terrible analogy, but in my brain, what I just thought of with how can I make an analogy of like something just doesn't go away when there's been a long history of it and it's got a traceable history. Like I always think of the mob. Like that was my grandpa's generation. And my grandpa would tell me stories. My grandpa had buddies that were still alive. My grandpa had his network still until he passed. I understand that you could say, oh, a lot of the mob guys that were either killed, they were put in prison. Like, I just don't think that goes away. I think things get smarter. I think things go underground. I think people get more intelligent about how they maintain their power and they don't go and flaunt it as much, especially if they have it. I think a lot of the world's richest people, the world's most powerful people, we don't even know their names. I think that that's by design. And I think that a lot of that can be correlated to the meaning of words, their origins. How did things get named this way? Maritime law. Are we sovereign? Are we not? Congress, progress. I like that stuff. I think it's very interesting. And I have no idea how we'd ever be able to untangle it. But they do seem to put it right in your face and then just not teach you the meanings of it. So now when you think of Congress, you probably just think it's a random word and it doesn't have any meaning in the English language as to how it became and got named that. The Freemasons. There's so much Freemasonry symbolism all over this as well. Hannah says, whether you realize it or not, so many things today are steeped in the occult because this world is run by Satan. It's all threads woven together by the same source. Jesus will win, but Satan is ruling right now. That the entire narrative of good versus evil, spiritual warfare, you could say that's a bunch of malarkey, but I can tell you there's a lot of people, lots of people can feel it. And I do not disagree with it. It's not right or left. It's good versus evil. And I think it has nothing to do with politics, and it has everything to do with the force in this realm on earth. And it's deep and it's trippy and it's weird to think about. It's weird to even say it out loud, but I truly believe that. And this is just crazy too. I'll probably have to play this a couple times. Tell me what you guys see. Now, is that a bug? Because I don't think a bug would fly that fast, nor do I think it would be picked up that quick. And there's been some videos of people capturing, like, quote, drones. I don't know what that is. I think it's too big for a bug as well. I'll play it one more time. There's some footage of a bunch of random fast flying stuff that gets captured all over. So I don't know what to make of that. This is I'm sure there's people that have their opinions on Stu Peters, as do I. For better or worse, I think a lot of it just depends on the context and the content. And I'll play this. You guys tell me what you think. This is why I asked that question of, I've seen less and less fingers being pointed at Israel and more fingers being pointed at the person he talks about here.
This was a woman who was already closely connected to Donald Trump long before she even met Charlie Kirk. And by the way, she met him on one of his trips to Israel. That's important. Did you see the Charlie Kirk memorial service in Arizona where she helped to drive home the narrative that this weirdo, this guy who's in love with a tranny furry, Tyler Robinson, is solely responsible for Charlie's murder and that she forgives him? Watch.
I forgive him.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying that at all. That looks like show business to me. That looks like Hollywood. It looks like a grieving widow, or maybe a not so grieving widow, who has been put up on stage with a script to hammer home the point that Tyler Robinson is undoubtedly guilty. Tyler Robinson's going to go on trial, if he even makes it to trial, having been forgiven by Charlie Kirk's wife. And jurors will know that. So it helps to reinforce his guilt, even though we have absolutely zero legitimate evidence actually linking this guy to that crime. Just grainy surveillance footage, fake text messages, and a transgender furry. And you can rest assured that this fake government will carefully be monitoring the public response to all of this. They're going to be using all of their internet monitoring trolls, all of their surveillance state goodies and technologies, all of their AI spyware to see what the public reaction is. What are people saying? What they can expect the public reaction to be? How should they play all of this? And if people aren't buying into their story, well, they'll just kill Tyler Robinson. And that's actually the most plausible, most likely scenario. They don't want this guy to go on trial. Do you think that the facts of this case as they've been presented to us would withstand scrutiny in a courtroom? There's no real trial to be had. On those fake facts alone, as they've been presented to us, there is nothing to convict this guy of murdering Charlie Kirk, other than this big memorial service and Charlie's wife, Erica, who took to the stage and announced that she forgives Tyler Robinson for murdering her husband, almost like a form of spiritual manipulation to get people to buy into this story even more, to get Christians to buy into this story and pick it up and run with it. And it's obvious that a bunch of Jews have already come swooping in to try to make sure that TPUSA goes in the direction that they want it to go. It was Ben Shapiro that told us, I'm going to pick up Charlie Kirk's bloodstained microphone before Charlie's body was even cold. Turning Point USA, mark my words, now more than ever before is going to be used to champion a Judeo-Christian worldview and gear millions of young Americans towards service to the cabal instead of their own country. This is why our government is actively trying to criminalize people who ask too many questions or cast too much doubt on the official narrative.
So I think that he pieced that together pretty damn good. Guys, I'm not going to lie. It's hard for me to feel normal when I say a grieving wife looked how I want to say it looked on stage. It feels weird. And you guys know what I mean. That image really did sum up the entirety of a giant portion of that memorial. There was really good parts. There was like moving parts. If you watched it, and then it just turned into that feeling that we just watched Erica Kirk show on the screen. And this isn't going to go to trial. I saw somebody in the comments say they're going to use the death penalty. They'll force it into a plea deal. They'll never see trial. But he's right. What is linking this dude to the crime? It's obvious. No cover-up ever goes to trial. It's very similar to the Idaho 4 case. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Is this going to trial? They're going to kill Tyler? Plea deal coming. Let's make some predictions here in the Hive. On September 24th, 2025. Let's see what the Hive thinks. We can go back and we can watch this, and I'll clip this whenever the sentencing, or God only knows what it happens to him. We can look back at this and see what we all thought. And Bextats, yes, I have. I've seen that. There's some speculation on if it's the child's name, Gigi, and that's what the G is for. Who knows? There's so much symbolism. There's so much just crazy shit that I'll believe anything at this point. It could be a Freemason ring. People are saying no trial. People are saying plea deal. Jamie says Tyler and Brian are being inducted into the FBI class of 2026. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Don. I don't know. I mean, I could see it for sure. I could also see how it sparks Freemason conspiracies. Tyler's going to take a deal behind the scenes. Yeah, Erica Kirk was on Summer House years back. There's a lot of weird ties to Donald Trump and Erica Kirk. It's odd. Not at NBC says they're going to take him out with Tylenol. Oh, I saw a clip of Jimmy Kimmel's first show back, and I have to say it was hilarious. He said, I don't know who's had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. And I'm just like, damn, this is just crazy. Everything's crazy. And I don't want to just keep saying that, because sometimes I don't have words for what is really going on and what we're being told. And everything is changing so rapidly. Yep. Yep. Handmaid's Tale, the prequel. Now, I put out a video last night. I posted it later after the stream. It was only like 3 minutes. I was editing the video with George Webb, the live stream. I was going to make a quick cut of it, and then I found this while I was editing it. If you guys remember, I was showing, I swear to God, I see somebody behind this damn bush. Okay. Somebody sent me a photo here that was when the rally was not going on. I do not see anybody behind the suspicious fern. Okay. This kind of looks like somebody behind the suspicious fern. I can completely see an eye, a nose. I can see the head, almost like the ear here. This doesn't look to have roses on it. Maybe it does have flowers there, actually. But there's something sticking through the gate. You don't see it here. I mean, this looks like a dude's head, everybody, that is crouched down. Now, I wanted to show this because people are saying, well, the angle wouldn't be the same. I think that could possibly be up for debate. And someone just said it looks like Charlie Kirk. Holy shit. All right, let's see this. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I could see it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it'd be the exact angle. Right? It's such a tight window to thread the needle on. So when you look at it like this, I mean, guys, I feel like that just looks like somebody crouching down when I just blow up that one little part. And then I was wondering, I don't know if there's anybody out there that would be able to figure out how we could do this. You know how everybody talked about that muzzle flash that you see right here? Right? I'm wondering, could it by chance, with the reflection of the sun and where this window would reflect on, could it catch that muzzle flash if it's sticking through there? I'd be curious if we could if there's some sort of technology that could do the angle of where that would have to reflect. Could be a vapor trail. Yeah, who knows? It does look like a mask. I'm so glad you said that. So like look at this shit. If you guys haven't seen this, this is crazy.
Want to transform your look in an instant? This clever mesh mask creates a realistic optical illusion of a famous face. Made from lightweight, breathable fabric, it's comfortable to wear and stretches to fit most sizes. It's a simple and effective way to get ready for a costume party or just play a funny prank on a friend. Want to transform your look in an instant? This clever mesh mask creates a realistic optical illusion of a famous...
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, Luna, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? But I put a filter on it, and I don't know. I feel like I see the chin. You guys get the point. Now, I'm going to move on to the tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day. I know that this is a little bit shorter of a stream, but that's because tomorrow and Friday I have some stuff that I'm working on actually diving into, because I have yet to put out a full theory on Charlie Kirk. So I'm working on that. Hence why today I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit. But this is pretty remarkable. And we kind of flow into it rather naturally with what we've been talking about in the stream with symbolism. Does anybody know that the capstones of the pyramids are missing? And then in the dollar bill logo, that's what they have floating. I thought that was something that maybe not a lot of people know. But I did want to talk about the missing capstone as the final piece of the global control grid conspiracy. And that's for thousands of years, the top of the pyramid, both literally on the Great Pyramid and symbolically on the US dollar, has been missing, not by accident, but it's by design. It represents the ultimate key to total control, ancient technology, forbidden knowledge, or even non-human intelligence that the elite are withholding until the world is ready for full submission. The pyramid is human civilization under construction, and the floating eye represents the hidden hand, the Illuminati or Luciferian overlords watching from above, waiting for the moment to descend the capstone and seal the New World Order. According to leaked occult symbols, Q drops, and elite iconography, the capstone is the key that opens all doors. Once it's in place, there's no going back. It marks the completion of their plan, total surveillance, spiritual control, and technocratic domination. A lot of people are saying that the capstone is not missing, but it's rather hidden, and it's waiting to be placed. And once they place it, that's how you know it's game over and a one world system has been activated. I'd be curious if in our lifetimes we'll ever see that capstone added back onto the top of the pyramid. So I love going down those type of rabbit holes. I like the ones where, like, when I think about it for too long, you feel uncomfortable. Not saying that the pyramids have me feeling that way, but when you really start to look into the occult stuff and the darkness of just so many giant symbols that are in our world, right in our face, right under our nose, where nobody seems to even pick up on it. It's remarkable how well they're hidden. I'd be curious how many people, again, even knew that the top of the pyramids have been missing. And how many times have you seen them? And how many times have you seen the dollar? And how many times have you seen the eye, the all-seeing eye, representing the capstone on our dollar? I geek out over Tartaria. I haven't really brought too much of it onto the stream. I feel like that Tartaria would have to be a couple of streams back to back to back, I would think. Is that anything that the Hive would be interested in learning about? Is Tartaria? A lot of people refer to it as the old world. We can go down so many rabbit holes in here because I know there's people that have a plethora of knowledge and would probably be able to contribute to any topic that I could even think of. But the Tartarian rabbit hole is epic. It'll change the way you see these buildings downtown in every city all over the world. So, okay, a lot of people are saying yes. Yes. Yeah, Jamie's saying I like that. Education is power. Shell says hell yeah. Haley Muck and Fuss. All right. Oh, Atlantis too. Man. We need to become like a conspiracy cult in the Hive and just master all of the language and all of the hidden decodes that have been hidden under our nose and just start shamelessly spreading it into the normies' minds. But anyways, Hive, I hope you all have a good night. Like I said, I'm putting together my full theory on what I believe happened with the Charlie Kirk situation. I am aware that there's been a couple of new body cam footages released in the Idaho Forest, so we can also talk about that. And I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central. Please do not forget to email me if you'd like to be in the Hive Mind Roundtable. That is Sunday, October 5th at 7 p.m. Central. BirdieBombshell00@gmail.com. And with that, Hive, I hope everybody sleeps good, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Cheers.